Ian Mapp in on the tackle for the Mountaineers. 80th season of Navy sprint football dating back to 1946. A member of that 1946 team, former President Jimmy Carter, who passed away last year at the age of 100, was a sprint football player in the first season right here at the United States Naval Academy. 3rd and short from the 45. O'Connell hands to Jennings, bounces off at the middle, gets the first down to the 40 to the 37-yard line. And the midshipmen convert on their first 3rd down of the evening. Mansfield defense, led by linebacker Connor Casterline, Jackson Taylor also at linebacker with Noah Bennett. Their defensive line, defensive ends Ben Fitch and Seamus Lesher, Carlito Colon and Ian Mapp, the defensive tackles. In the defensive backfield, one cornerback, Justin Kimmicks, the other Joseph Fry, the Spartan, Jake Burridge, the free safety, Matt Mackmer, and the safety is Antonio Green. Midshipmen driving on their opening series of the ball game after recovering the onside kick. Luke O'Connell throws again quickly in the flat, connects to the touchdown scoring special teamer, Navy wide receiver Jake Berger, the sophomore, 5'10", from Walnut Creek, California, Northgate High School. 5 yards on the catch. The midshipmen into the huddle. The midshipmen led by head coach Major Carter Reading, United States Marine Corps, 2016 Naval Academy graduate, 8-2 in his second season coaching the midshipmen, the 33rd sprint head coach at Navy. He played 4 years of sprint football during his days on the yard at the Naval Academy. Hunter Jennings, the workhorse, up ahead to that Joe Bellino, 27-yard line, first down for the midshipmen. Their second of this opening drive of the ball game. Hunter Jennings, 3 carries for 20 yards. Luke O'Connell, perfect throwing the ball so far, 2 for 2 for 9 yards. He's already found Jake Berger and E.B. Denson on his passes. Out of the gun, 1st and 10 from the 27. Jennings again up the middle, bounces it to the near side, up over the 20-yard line. Another good first down carry for the midshipmen. This opening drive, 5 plays so far, 26 yards. Started on their own 47, recovering the onside kick. Looking to go up 2 scores, already up 7-0, scoring on the opening kickoff of the game as it was fumbled on the return by Mansfield. Running right under it was Jake Berger, taking it into the end zone for 27 yards and the fumble recovery for the touchdown. O'Connell, time to throw to the right side. Connects with Berger, who steps out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Another first down for the midshipmen as they move the chains. 1st and goal for Navy right now. Just underway in Annapolis. A cloudy night for Friday Night Lights here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. So the midshipmen will decline the penalty. Referee Joseph Marchio, head linesman Mike Vernavakis, umpire is Clement Vasilet, line judge Dan Wetzel, back judge Paul Harris, field judge is James Hayes, and the side judge is John Connor, as assigned by the Collegiate Sprint Football League. 1st and goal for Navy from the Mansfield 7-yard line. As you see the mids in that offensive line quickly get up on the ball. It's time to hand up the middle, down to the 2-yard line. Touchdown, saving tackle by Jack Burbidge. Nice pickup on the first carry of the ball game for Broderick Freeman, the sophomore running back from Kernerville, North Carolina. So Freeman stays in the backfield, a full backfield, 3 across. Jennings and Freeman on the edges. O'Connell under center, Hands to Hunter Jennings. Jennings up ahead. Gets down to the 2-yard line. The stop by Seamus Lesher for the Mountaineers. So the midshipmen now, 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Also Bobby Rudsky in the backfield. O'Connell again, low under center. Hands off, up the middle, in the end zone. Touchdown, Navy. Broderick Freeman off left tackle into the end zone. And with 9:04 left to go in this first quarter, the midshipmen with a 2-touchdown lead. After recovering the onside kick after taking the fumble recovery from the opening kickoff into the end zone, the midshipmen drive down the field. 10 plays, 53 yards, 5 minutes and 48 seconds. Ja'Cory Sutton for the extra point. Snap is down, and it's blocked. Big special teams play there as diving in to knock it away is Matt Mackmer, the freshman from Troy, Pennsylvania. So maybe something that Mansfield can build on right now, because so far, for 6 minutes of this ball game has been all Navy. Again, Navy winning the coin toss, deferring, kicks off, the return, fumbled right into the hands of Jake Berger. He runs it 27 yards into the end zone. The midshipmen taking the 7-0 lead, only 7 seconds into the ball game. And now with 9:04 left to go in the first quarter, on the 1-yard touchdown run by Broderick Freeman, the midshipmen are up 13-0 as the extra point was blocked. Ja'Cory Sutton, his 3rd kickoff of the ball game with 9 minutes left to go in the first quarter, kicks it deep. The return up the middle by Levitt Davenport. A special teams tackle for the midshipmen. Nathan Keast, junior linebacker from Alexandria, Virginia, Mount Vernon High School, makes a special teams play. And for the first time tonight, we'll see this Mansfield offense led by quarterback Marcus Quaker. Last week against Caldwell, 3 rushing touchdowns. Had a run of 43 yards, in all 113 yards, 5 of 9 passing for 77 yards and a touchdown in the big win, the shutout win over Caldwell. He ends up throwing the ball on first down. It goes incomplete. Diving outside the sprawling Weston Bellows, 5'10" freshman from Canton, Pennsylvania. 2nd down and 10. In the backfield for Mansfield, Brady Deneen and Weston Bellows. Darian Brown, Eli Swan are the wide receivers. Ajani Gibson is the slot. Offensive line from left to right, Taz Zimmerman, Gabe Conyer. The center is Braden Oraviz. Jack Gartner, the right guard, and Dom Kwiatek is the right tackle on offense. First series of the ball game. The hand, nowhere to go there. Stuffed at the line of scrimmage by the left side of that Navy defensive line, led by Tyler Meisenzahl, the senior from Charlestown, West Virginia, making the big tackle. Gave him forward progress back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of 1, so a tackle for a loss for Meisenzahl to get things going in the home opener for the midshipmen. 7 minutes played in this first half. Navy out in front 13-0. Rolling right, Quaker throws across the middle. Catch is made very close to the first down, and it is a first down. Weston Bellows makes the catch out to the 41-yard line. Good coverage by the Navy defensive backfield. But that throw from Marcus Quaker right on the money, and the first down of the night for the 2-0 Mansfield Mountaineers. Quaker works under center with the I formation, hands to the I back. Up the middle, Weston Bellows into that heart of the Navy defense. A Navy defense that has played stout this season, led by linebacker, leading tackler Jake Walensky, Sam Stotler, and Christian Conley, the Navy linebacker core, Angelo Pearson, Owen Erker, and Sean Betway in the defensive backfield. 2nd down and 8. Mansfield down by a pair of scores. Quaker throws to the far sidelines. Through the hands of Jerry Holmes Jr., incomplete. Quaker 1 for 3 passing to start the game. Connecting for the first down before that play to Weston Bellows. That time incomplete through the hands of Jerry Holmes Jr. 3rd and long for the Mounties. From their own 42-yard line. That Navy defensive line of Tyler Meisenzahl, Jensen Boyd, and so there'll be a timeout on the field with Navy leading 13-0, 6:49 left to go in this first quarter. Join us for one of the best traditions in college basketball this November 7th as Navy hosts the 12th annual Veterans Classic. The event will begin with a 6 p.m. matchup between Rhode Island and Tulsa, followed by an 8:30 meeting between Navy and Yale. For tickets, call 1-800-US4-NAVY or visit NavySports.com. The Veterans Classic 12th annual, November 7th, here on the yard at the United States Naval Academy. A big night of Navy sports, not only sprint football, the home opener here with Navy leading. It was the women's soccer team playing in the Army-Navy Cup in Philadelphia at Subaru Park. And it's a final, Navy and Army, a final of 2-2. So, see if they go to goal kicks. Quaker rolls to the near side. He is in big trouble. Runs right side. Gets away. Has room to run. He will tuck it away. Knocked out of bounds just before he gets to midfield, but does a good job avoiding the sack. He was knocked out of bounds by Jake Walensky, but not before making some decent yardage out to his own 46-yard line. So it will be 4th down. And we'll see Mansfield punting for the first time. And it's the quarterback, Marcus Quaker, who drops back to punt. Back for Navy, Grant Sturchy at his own 19-yard line. Quaker takes the long snap, runs to the right, lets the punt go. A short punt, and it will go out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So the midshipmen with good field position on the short punt for their second possession of the ball game, already leading 13-0 with 5:55 left to go in this first quarter. Exeter, Navy's newest lead partner, is proud to join Navy Athletics in celebrating the U.S. Navy's 250th birthday celebration this weekend. Exeter is Supply Chain AI, proud to honor the Navy's 250th birthday from sea to shining sea. I'm Scott Wyckoff here in Annapolis, along with our Navy Athletics crew, led by Director Max Stovall. Navy Sprint Football, the home opener in the Collegiate Sprint Football League against Mansfield. Midshipmen have 5 receivers that will go out in the pattern now. A direct snap to Freeman. So Freeman, the lone back who has scored the Navy offensive touchdown, out to the 47-yard line, very close to a first down. They'll move the chains. Again, another first down for the midshipmen, controlling the line of scrimmage. So Broderick Freeman carrying the ball effectively for Navy with a touchdown and a pair of first downs, working from the direct snap. Freeman up the middle again, more room to run. Freeman bounces it out to the left hash mark, carries tacklers down to the 25-yard line. What a look on offense for new Navy offensive coordinator Chuck Abate. Third consecutive carry for a first down for the midshipmen. Chuck Abate, longtime high school head coach in Illinois. The direct snap this time being knocked down right at the line of scrimmage as Freeman. No yardage on that carry. Chuck Abate, the high school coach for Navy head coach, Major Carter Reading at St. Charles East High School in Chicagoland in Illinois, and joining his former player here at the Naval Academy as Navy's new offensive coordinator, giving us all sorts of looks on those direct snaps. Luke O'Connell is back in now with Hunter Jennings in the backfield. Gives to Jennings, bounces it out to the far side, inside the 20, down to the 10, knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Matt Mackmer makes the touchdown-saving tackle, but not before the first down carry by Hunter Jennings. Midshipmen looking to go up 3 scores now, deep in Mansfield territory from the 7-yard line. Jennings this time up on the line. Under center is O'Connell with Jennings right behind him. Hands to Hunter. Left side, cuts it back up the middle. Jennings down to the 2-yard line. He was looking for real estate on the far sideline, then cut it back. Jackson Taylor, linebacker from Mansfield, makes a tackle. But again, a nice run on first down for Hunter Jennings down to the 2-yard line. Full backfield. O'Connell in that crouch under center. Gives it to Jennings. Jennings down towards the 1-yard line. Running behind that left side of the Navy offensive line. Behind Will Trechter and Brandon Fletchall. And captain Kerry Johnson, the offensive captain for the midshipmen. Defensive captain, also a senior, Seamus Carrasco. So the midshipmen, 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Clock is winding with 2 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Pushing ahead. O'Connell keeps it himself, but a flag is down in the backfield. The Navy offense with the false start, so they will move that back. So it will remain 3rd and goal for the midshipmen. And it's just off a little quickly with that flag thrown with 1:58 remaining in this first quarter. That sees Navy out in front 13-0. Third and goal from the 6. So they'll spread things out now. O'Connell throws in the right flat down to the 3-yard line. Nice open field tackle. Marquand Grimes stops Berger at the 3-yard line. So we'll see what kind of decision new offensive coordinator Chuckabate will make now. 4th and goal from the 3, and the midshipmen are going to go for it. Already leading by a pair of touchdowns. Will spread things out. Freeman and Jennings on either side of O'Connell. Keeps it himself, throws to Hunter Jennings in the end zone, touchdown. Play action in the backfield. Jennings coming from left to right, catches it along the near sidelines and walks it into the end zone. And with 51 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the midshipmen with a 3-touchdown lead, 19-0. They have scored on both their offensive series, and they even scored on special teams on the opening kickoff of the game, returning a fumble, 27 yards for a touchdown. Ja'Cory Sutton for the extra point. This time gets it away. And with less than a minute to go in the first quarter, Navy out in front of this one, 20-0 against a Mansfield team that has never beaten Navy. Navy has won all 14 games in this series with Mansfield, dating back to 2009. The second scoring drive of the night for the midshipmen. 9 plays, 63 yards. It took 5 minutes. It started at their own 37-yard line after that punt by Marcus Quaker that went out of bounds. And the midshipmen take it in the end zone. Hunter Jennings, 3-yard reception for the touchdown from Luke O'Connell to add on to the Jake Burker fumble recovery for a touchdown and the Broderick Freeman 1-yard touchdown run. Ja'Cory Sutton getting a workout, kicking the ball here. His 3rd kickoff of the ball game. Again, good coverage by Navy special teams. Nathan Keast makes his 2nd tackle of the ball game in special teams. We'll see the Mansfield offense return to the field now, as they have fallen behind. Had a decent first drive that stalled at midfield. And then after the short punt, the midshipmen driving it down the field for the score. First home game of the season for the midshipmen. Right back here a week from tonight at 6 o'clock against Chestnut Hill. First road game of the season for Mansfield. They travel to St. Thomas Aquinas next Friday. There's a timeout on the field. Navy volleyball in action tonight, taking on Colgate at Wesley Brown Fieldhouse. Then tomorrow, the Mids will take on Bucknell at 6 o'clock. Be sure to get to Wesley Brown early, as the first 125 fans will receive a free Navy scrunchie. And right now, Navy in the first set, beating Colgate, taking that first set 25-14. Just a long spike from here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium at Wesley Brown Fieldhouse. So Paco Labradors women's volleyball team takes the first set 25-14. Throws out to the near side. Knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Quaker connects with Logan Hawley. Just 41 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Berger, Freeman, and Jennings scoring for Navy. 1 on special teams and 2 in short after long drives. Bruising run for the Mounties. Weston Bellows, the freshman back, out to the 34-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and short for the Mountaineers. And that'll do it for the first quarter. 15 minutes in the book from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. Navy leads Mansfield 20-0. I'll be back with the second quarter coming up in just a moment. All set to go now in the second quarter. Navy Sprint Football on Navy Athletics YouTube. Scott Wyckoff, along with Director Matt Stovall and our crew here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. The home opener for Navy Sprint Football against the Mansfield Mountaineers. And the midshipmen score 20 first quarter points. Mansfield with a 3rd and short from their own 34-yard line. They've yet to get into Navy territory. Marcus Quaker connects on the far sideline, right in front of his own bench. Enough for the first down to Eli Swan, the senior wide receiver from Mount Pleasant Mills, Pennsylvania, Midwest High School. Move the chains on their previous drive, their first drive of the ball game. This is where it stalled for Mansfield after a first down near midfield, trying to get it into Navy territory for the first time, trailing by 3 touchdowns. This year's Mansfield team includes a record-breaking 43 newcomers for 8th-year head coach John Evans, the former Mansfield defensive coordinator for 4 years, 8 seasons ago, making the move to head coach. His Mountaineers out to a 2-0 start to start the season. Finished 3-1 last year in the CSFL North, their best record in a half-decade. First road game of the season. Week 1, they beat Penn at home at Mansfield 15-9. Last week, shutting out Caldwell 31-0. It was a tackle for a loss, second of the ball game for the midshipmen. Quaker holds it himself, and he is thrown down for a loss. Taken down to this brand new field turf here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, Jack Stevens Field. Jake Walensky, the midshipman's leading tackler, the senior. 5'11" from North Andover, Massachusetts, North Andover High School. 3rd and 11. Stepping up in the pocket, running the ball, and banged right at midfield. Making the stop for the midshipman, Mick Tabor. A hard hit. But it is enough to get it out to around the 47-yard line. So not enough for the first down. That's Matt Krause, the freshman quarterback from nearby Middletown, Delaware. On in at quarterback. Marcus Quaker back to punt once again. The starting quarterback this time gets it away. High, short punt. It will bounce. It does take a Mansfield roll, and it is downed right in front of the Navy bench at the 28-yard line. That's where the midshipmen will start on their first possession of the second quarter as the sun sets through the clouds here on this Friday night in Annapolis. Navy midshipman football team undefeated 5-0 on the road tomorrow against the Temple Owls at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. You can watch the game on ESPN2. You can listen to the game on the Navy Football Radio Network. Our coverage begins at 3 o'clock on the network with the kickoff at 4 o'clock. Hunter Jennings bangs it up the middle for the midshipman, out ahead over 30 to the 31-yard line with 12 minutes left to go in the second quarter. A lot of Navy football on the radio tomorrow. Not only a 2 o'clock pregame show on the flagship station, my home, Monday through Friday, WBAL News Radio 1090 and FM 101.5, but also the 3-hour local pregame show getting underway at noon. There's the pitch to the near side for the midshipman. Fake the to Jennings. And then pitches it to E.B. Denson. Pickup of 4, third and long. So the Mansfield defense trying to stop the midshipman offense for the first time. WNAV Radio here in Annapolis, a long-time affiliate of the Navy Radio Network. One time the flagship station. Their pregame show, I believe, starts at 12 noon tomorrow. For Navy football, undefeated Navy, 4 votes in the AP Top 25 poll this week. Luke O'Connell down the near sidelines, in and out of the hands of Grant Sturchie. Well thrown ball, also good coverage. Along the sidelines for Mansfield defensively, Joseph Fry running stride for stride with Sturchie. So the first time this evening, Ja'Cory Sutton will be called upon to punt. The Navy place kicker also. Back at his own 22-yard line. It's Weston Bellows. Delay of game on the midshipman. They'll walk it back another 5 yards. So Bellows will walk downfield, looking to return this punt. He now stands at the Joe Bellino 27-yard line in Mansfield territory. Ja'Cory Sutton averaging 41 yards a punt this season. That punt is away. A good punt. Good hang time. Bellows catches it at his 35, turns, and he bounces out of the tackle. Bellows to the near sidelines, up ahead over the 40 to the 41-yard line. Tucker Updahl makes the tackle for the midshipman on special teams. Nice return by Weston Bellows. Breaks the tackle. Looked as though he had been stopped pretty much where he caught the ball, but then keeps his legs churning. Good field position for the Mountaineers, starting in their best field position of the night from the 42-yard line. It's Navy 20, Mansfield nothing. 10:40 remaining in the first half of the home opener for Navy Sprint football here in Annapolis tonight. Kraus hands off and stumbling on the new field turf. And going down is Austin Lunsford, the freshman running back from San Diego. Went to high school in Japan. Kubasaki High School grad in Japan from San Diego. Kraus in relief of Quaker at quarterback. The I formation. Short drop. Throws down the far sidelines. Incomplete. Nice coverage for the midshipman on the corner. Lexington McGurley, the sophomore defensive back from San Antonio, Texas, running stride for stride with the Mansfield wide receiver, Eli Swan. It goes incomplete. 3rd and 15 for the Mountaineers. From their own 38-yard line. And before Kraus can get the snap from center Braden Oraviz, a delay of game penalty early in this season. We've seen 3 of those so far in this game, 2 against the Midshipmen. That's the first against the Mountaineers. They'll walk it back another 5 yards and make what was a 3rd and long, 3rd and 14, even longer. 3rd and 20 now. After having their best field position of the ball game. A stumble in the backfield and then a penalty has pushed Mansfield back. Kraus, hands up the middle. Weston Bellows, freshman running back. Picks up a couple of yards, but well short of the first down. Matt Mackmer now with punting duties, so there could be an injury to quarterback Marcus Quaker because we have not seen him the last 2 series, either at quarterback or punting. Mackmer's punt is away. Nice open field. Special teams tackle by Caleb Smith on the short punt return by Grant Sturchy, senior wide receiver from Knoxville, Tennessee. So we have seen some outstanding special teams play right off the bat. Opening kickoff of the game, a hard hit forces a Mansfield fumble right into the arms in the air to Jake Berger, who ran it in for 27 yards. And there, a nice tackle on the punt return for Mansfield. Midshipmen start the possession at their own 29-yard line, leading 20-0, 9:10 left to go. Again, a good first down pickup to Hunter Jennings, just shy of the 35-yard line. Hunter Jennings came into the ball game. 32 carries, 282 yards, averaging almost 9 yards a carry. And he is building on that here tonight. Already 9 carries for 54 yards, his long of 20 yards. This time off of right tackle. Very close to the first down. We'll see where the second effort does give him the first down for Navy at the 40-yard line. That time, Broderick Freeman not only carrying tacklers on his second effort, but also getting some help with that Navy offensive line continuing to hold their blocks. So a first down for the Midshipmen from their own 40. Out in front 20-0, 8 minutes remaining in the first half as the sun is now set here in Annapolis. Should cool off into the 50s now, started at 64. Luke O'Connell fakes the handoff, keeps it himself. Couple yards on the carry. Jackson Taylor, sophomore linebacker, with the tackle for Mansfield. 2nd down and 8 for Navy. Luke O'Connell, junior quarterback from Darien, Connecticut, the Hopkins School. Saw some good time at quarterback last season and now flourishing as a junior. Week 1, Navy Sprint Player of the Week in the CSFL. Gives to Hunter Jennings. Jennings up the middle. Jennings over midfield. Stumbles into Mansfield territory to the 47-yard line. First down carry by Navy's all-everything junior running back, Hunter Jennings from Linton, Indiana. Linton Stockton High School. To the 45-yard line. 3 yards on the carry. Midshipmen right up on the line of scrimmage now with those 3 of their 4 wide receivers to the top of your screen. O'Connell looks, flushed out of the pocket. O'Connell's going to keep it himself, tucks it away, runs out of bounds just inside the 40-yard line. Good coverage downfield by Mansfield. Nowhere to go with it for Luke O'Connell, and he tucks it away. Makes a first, actually about 2 yards for a first down on a nice scramble by the Navy quarterback, who looks down at his play sheet on his belt after the huddle this time. Freeman, Jennings, and Rudski all in that full backfield. Just shy of the first down. Jennings to the 39-yard line. 4th down for Navy. Chuckabate, new Navy offensive coordinator, sends in the play to Luke O'Connell. Again with that in tight backfield of Freeman and Jennings and Rudski. Hand off to Freeman. Hit at the line. He gets to the 40 and no more. What a defensive play by Adil Johnson, the freshman defensive lineman from Middletown, Pennsylvania. Stops the midshipman on 4th down. Biggest play of the ball game for Mansfield. Adil Johnson, 5'8". Sprint football, all players must be 178 pounds or less. They weigh in twice a week. 40 hours before kickoff is the last weigh-in. So good field position after the 4th down stop for Mansfield from their own 40-yard line. They trail 20-0, under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Kraus over the middle, complete to midfield. Connects with Weston Bellows. First down for the Mountaineers. Bellows' second catch of the ball game. First down inside Navy territory at the 49-yard line. A little bit of momentum now, building late here in the first half for Mansfield after stopping the midshipman on 4th down. Backup quarterback, Matt Kraus. Throws it again, near sidelines, complete and incomplete. A pair of threes. Eli Swan was the intended receiver, and Sean Betway. Good coverage for the midshipmen. 2nd down and 10 for Mansfield. Their first time in Navy territory, just inside the 50 at the 49-yard line. In a fast-paced first half here in Annapolis, the home opener for Navy Sprint football in their 80th season. They have jumped out to a 20-0 lead. Kraus play action, short drop, throws it. Nice catch for the first down. Breaking free down the far sidelines. Down to the 22-yard line. Beautifully thrown ball to a Johnny Gibson from Matt Kraus. And another first down for the Mountaineers to the Navy 22-yard line with 3:44 remaining in the first half. Now the third quarterback of the evening, hands off up the middle for the Mountaineers. Stephen Risotto, the freshman quarterback from Myerstown, Pennsylvania. So Mansfield head coach John Evans using 3 quarterbacks in the first half in this one. And right now, Risotto is driving the Mountaineers down the field. 2nd down and 7 from the Navy 20-yard line. He's under center. Hands off along the left side to Houston Lunsford. Brought down after picking up 1. Sam Stotler, junior linebacker for the Midshipmen, makes the stop. So 3rd and 7 from the Navy 19 with 2:20 remaining in the second quarter. There's a tackle for a loss for the Midshipmen. Back-to-back tackles by Sam Stotler. This time, the junior linebacker knifes through the Mansfield offensive line. And the Midshipmen are going to call timeout, wanting to get this ball back. What a defensive play by Stotler. Jake Lunsky leads the Midshipmen with 8 tackles, 4 solos so far. And Stotler already with a tackle for a loss just there for Navy. Trying to end this drive for Mansfield. The deepest the Mountaineers have gotten into Navy territory late in this first half. It's the 2-minute timeout. So with 2 minutes left to go in the first half, both teams heading to their benches and now quickly head back out on the field. So Matt Krause is back at quarterback now for Mansfield. Single setback is David Martinez. Drops back to pass. Throws to the far side. Incomplete. Intended for Weston Bellows. So on 4th down, the Midshipmen hold after their offense was stopped on 4th down in Mountaineer territory. The Mids return the favor themselves. And Navy will get the ball with 1:55 left to go in the first half from their own 21-yard line, leading Mansfield 20-0. Navy starting the season 2-0. Mansfield also off to a 2-0 start. Home opener for the Midshipmen. Do it all over again a week from tonight here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis against Chestnut Hill. Luke O'Connell, quick flare to the near side and getting out of bounds is Grant Sturchy. 6'2" senior wide receiver. A nice pitch and catch from his junior quarterback, Luke O'Connell. Stops the clock with 1:49 left to go. 4 yards on that play, out to the 36-yard line. We'll take a little break at halftime. If you want to go grab a snack, we'll leave the countdown clock on for you, let you know when we're coming back. About 20 minutes or so, halftime in sprint football. O'Connell, play action, throws to the near side, well outside the reach of E.B. Denson. Good pressure. By Mansfield on the Navy quarterback, led by Seamus Lesher. Lesher getting in there quickly, forcing Luke O'Connell to throw it a little bit before he wanted to. Incomplete, stops the clock. 3rd down and 6, Navy from their own 26-yard line with 1:45 remaining in the first half. Jennings, the single back. O'Connell will throw to Jennings over the middle. Jennings Up over the 35 to the 37-yard line. So nice play action using Jennings as a decoy in the backfield, quickly getting it out to him, and he gets it out to the 38-yard line. Literally the 2-minute drill for the midshipmen, starting this drive just after the 2-minute timeout. And they'll call timeout. Navy men's soccer returns to Glenn Warner Saturday, October 18th, as they take on Lafayette at 1 p.m. Be sure to get to the stadium early, as we'll be honoring our senior class prior to the start of the game. In addition, the first 100 fans will receive a free T-shirt, compliments of Nothing Bundt Cakes. Navy men's soccer returning home to the yard Saturday, October 18th, as they take on Lafayette at 1 p.m. And it is Navy soccer tonight, the Army-Navy Cup at Subaru Park in Philadelphia. After the women's soccer team battled to a 2-2 tie with West Point, things getting underway for the Mids and the Black Knights of the Hudson in just a few minutes. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock. Army-Navy Cup 14. A crowd of about 10,000 in Philadelphia to see the greatest rivalry in all of sports, soccer style, between Army and Navy. Luke O'Connell, flushed out of the pocket. Right side, throws on the run. Knocked out of bounds. Almost intercepted by a Johnny Gibson. Stops the clock with 1:19 left to go. Midshipmen scoring on special teams, recovering a fumble, taking it in off the opening kickoff. And then 3 consecutive series. First 2 of those series with touchdowns. Up 20-0. O'Connell, Jennings with room to move. Over midfield, Jennings cuts it back. Carries tacklers to the Mansfield 45-yard line. The midshipmen, with 1:10 remaining, up on the line of scrimmage into Mansfield territory. Jennings again, big hole to the 40. Stopped by Matt Mackmer, and the midshipmen will take another timeout as they have the ball at the Mansfield 39-yard line. Under a minute left to go in this first half. Second set of Navy women's volleyball after the midshipmen won the first set against Colgate 25-14. They had just lost the second set. Colgate wins a tight second set 25-22. So they will go to the third set at Wesley Brown on the yard. We are just off the yard here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, at the corners of Rao and Taylor and Farragut. Home to the Navy Midshipmen football team, the Navy Sprint football team. Also home to Navy men's and women's lacrosse. Before you know it, I'll be playing lacrosse here. As when I go to Navy football practice, both the Navy football team and also Sprint football team, you see not only the Navy women's lacrosse team getting some in their fall ball practice in, also Joe Amplo's men's team with their fall ball practices. With 54 seconds left to go, O'Connell over the middle, in and out of the hands of E.B. Denson. He was open down around the 20-yard line. Incomplete. Play only took 4 seconds. 3rd down and 4 at the 39-yard line. Luke O'Connell, 7 of 11 passing for 45 yards and a touchdown. The 3-yard touchdown pass to Hunter Jennings that has given Navy this 20-0 lead late in the first half. Out wide open down the near sidelines. Jake Berger gets out of bounds. Berger already with a special teams touchdown. Now a big completion to him. Stops the clock at the 20 with 45 seconds to go. A nice 2-minute drill for the Mids. In a drive that started back at their own 21-yard line. They're now down at the Mansfield 20. 3 receivers to the top of your screen. Senior lone receiver to the near side, Grant Sturchy. O'Connell gives to Hunter Jennings. Jennings inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Midshipmen will get up on the ball quickly with half a minute remaining in this first half. Luke O'Connell shouting out the plays from the shotgun. Takes the snap. O'Connell. And a flag will be thrown. The snap from Navy senior captain, center Kerry Johnson from Sandpoint, Idaho. 2-year starter on the offensive line for the Midshipmen. Named first team all CSFL as a junior last year. Has helped anchor an offensive line that has amassed 3,400 rushing yards and 24 passing yards over the last 2 seasons for almost 6,000 yards of total offense for the Midshipmen. So far in this one, 222 yards of total offense, and Navy's defense effectively shutting down this Mansfield offense. Mansfield with a total of 75 yards in the first half. So the Midshipmen will take their final timeout, trying to get into the end zone for a 4th time in this ball game. Navy men's and women's basketball season tickets are on sale now. Join us all season long in Alumni Hall as your men's and women's basketball teams look to take home the Patriot League Championship. Men's and women's basketball season tickets are just $100 each, or get the full combined slate for just $150. For tickets for Navy and men's and women's basketball, call 1-800-US4Navy or visit NavySports.com. Scott Wyckoff here in Annapolis, along with our Navy Athletics crew here on YouTube tonight, along with director Matt Stovall. Final 24 seconds of the first half. Navy leads 20-0. 2nd down and 8 from the Mansfield 18-yard line. That was the final timeout for the Mids. 4 receivers set wide to the top and bottom of your screen. O'Connell throws into the right corner of the end zone, just outside the reach of Jake Berger. He was open in the corner, beat his man. The ball just overthrown a little bit by Luke O'Connell. Stops the clock with 19 seconds left to go. 3rd and 8 for the Midshipmen. A first down would be the 10-yard line, that time throwing into the end zone on the incompletion with no timeouts left. Berger split to the right side, along with Nakiri. Same play into the corner to Nakiri. Incomplete. Good coverage on the corner by Marquand Grimes, the 5'7" freshman defensive back from Rochester, New York, Edison Tech High School. So it'll be 4th down for the Midshipmen, and they're going to kick it. A 35-yard field goal attempt by Ja'Cory Sutton. Snap is down. Kick is down. It's away. And it's good. With 9 seconds remaining in the first half, Navy out in front of Mansfield 23-0. So a little bit of everything in this first half for the midshipmen. Things got underway very quickly for the midshipmen off the opening kickoff. A fumble recovered by Jake Berger ran it 30 yards into the end zone. Midshipmen went up 7-0. Navy made it 13-0 on a 1-yard touchdown run on their first series offensively the ball game by Broderick Freeman. Then on the next series, the midshipmen made it 20-0 after a long drive and a touchdown pass to Hunter Jennings from 3 yards out. And now the Jake Sutton 35-yard field goal, and Navy with a 23-0 lead with only 9 seconds remaining in this first half. Davenport and Hawley, the kick returners for Mansfield. Davenport for his own 6-yard line, right up the middle. Davenport stopped at the 24-yard line. A host of Navy defenders on special teams led by Sam Stotler. So Stotler makes the stop. Only 4 seconds left to go now. Would imagine the Mountaineers will take a knee now and head off to the locker room to try to find some answers to not only this Navy defense that has stopped their offense, but also a way to stop the Navy offense that has already put up 23 points in this first half of play. And that's what they do. Take the snap, take the knee, and that'll do it for the first half here in Annapolis. The midshipmen head off to the locker room here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium with a 23-0 lead in the Navy Sprint Football home opener tonight against the Mansfield Mountaineers. We'll take a short break. Stick around. We'll be back in just about, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes with the second half from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis here on Navy Athletics YouTube. The midshipmen have returned to the field for the second half. Navy leads Mansfield 23-0 here in the home opener in the Collegiate Sprint Football League for Navy Sprint Football. First half stats, Navy with 222 yards of total offense, 64 yards passing, 158 yards rushing. Luke O'Connell, 8 of 14 passing for 64 yards and a touchdown pass to Hunter Jennings. Hunter Jennings running the ball in the first half, 16 carries for 102 yards, averaging 6.4 yards a carry. Broderick Freeman, 8 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown. Luke O'Connell has carried the ball a couple times for 8 yards. Receiving for the midshipmen, Jake Berger, 4 catches for 41 yards, but that's not all. He also had a touchdown on the opening kickoff of the ball game. Navy kicks the ball off. The kick returner for Mansfield fumbles. The ball punched out of his hands, lands right in the air to Berger. Jake Berger runs it into the end zone. Hunter Jennings, 2 catches for 15 yards, one of those a touchdown. Grant Sturchy and also E.B. Denson with catches for the midshipmen. For the Mansfield Mountaineers, 74 yards of total offense, 60 yards passing, 14 yards rushing. We have seen 3 different quarterbacks. Matt Krause, who came on in relief of Marcus Quaker, 3 of 6 passing for 48 yards. Quaker, who started the ball game, 1 of 3 for 12 yards. Weston Bellows, 3 carries for 8 yards. Matt Krause ran the ball twice for 5 yards. And receiving, Johnny Gibson, 2 receptions for 38 yards. Weston Bellows, 1 catch for 12 yards. As the Mountaineers return to the field here, Jack Stevens Field at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. Defensively for the midshipmen, Jake Walensky, 8 tackles, 4 of those solo tackles. Tucker Updahl had 5 tackles. Senior captain Seamus Carrasco, who played last year with his brother before his brother was commissioned as an officer. Seamus with a couple tackles in the first half. And Sam Stotler had 2 tackles in the first half. One of those, a tackle for a loss. Matt Mackmer, the free safety for Mansfield, with 7 tackles. Jack Burbage with 7 tackles. Taylor Jackson, the Mansfield linebacker, also with 7 tackles, one of those for a loss. As both the teams are back on the field, we are set to go. Navy won the opening toss and deferred, and then on that opening kickoff, they get the fumble recovery by Jake Berger, runs it in from 30 yards out for the touchdown, and Navy now with this 23-0 lead will get the ball to start the second half. I'm Scott Wyckoff here in Annapolis tonight. It was a cloudy night before a beautiful sunset over the state capital of Maryland. Now it is Friday night lights as the lows will dip into the 50s as we move along. Our director of our Navy athletics crew is Matt Stovall. Thanks to Navy Assistant Sports Information Director Chris Whitehead and to Mansfield Director of Athletic Communications Drew Patrick for helping us with all we do on our broadcasts. As the midshipmen head out on the field, the Mounties of Mansfield University in Mansfield, Pennsylvania, out on the field. Both Navy and Mansfield 2-0 on the season. Navy Sprint Football in the Collegiate Sprint Football League. All players must be 178 pounds or less. In addition to Navy and Mansfield, Army, Cornell, Penn, Caldwell, Chestnut Hill, St. Thomas Aquinas, and Malloy University. All schools here on the East Coast that play sprint football. And we are underway in the second half. On the return for the midshipmen, E.B. Denson. Denson breaks free to midfield. Denson into Mansfield territory. So kickoffs to both start the game as a flag is down, and now to start the second half, big plays for the midshipmen. So it will be brought back. A hold on the midshipmen on the return. Disappointing for Major Carter Reading, United States Marine Corps, second year as the head coach for the midshipmen. 8-2, the 33rd sprint coach in the 80-year history, the proud tradition of sprint football here at the Naval Academy. When it all started back in 1946, players were limited to 150 pounds. Now the sprint football weight limit is 170 pounds. Players are weighed in twice a week. The all-time Navy sprint record, 409 wins, only 77 losses and 9 ties, and 83% winning percentage for the midshipmen. Even with the holding penalty, midshipmen with good field position on their first possession of the second half, with the ball on the 34-yard line. 2nd down and 8 for Navy, leading Mansfield 23-0, just underway in the second half. Junior quarterback Luke O'Connell with Freeman and Jennings to his side. Play action. Throws to the near sideline. What a catch by Jake Berger. Just outside the reach of Connor Casterline, the linebacker in coverage. Pinpoint passing from Luke O'Connell to Jake Berger. Good for a Navy first down. Out to the 44-yard line. We've talked about new Navy offensive coordinator, Chuck Abate. Navy head coach Major Carter Reading's high school football coach in suburban Chicago. Associate head coach and defensive coordinator, also a graduate of the Naval Academy, Tony Verducci. A busy time of the year for the Verducci brothers. Tony, the associate head coach and defensive coordinator for the midshipmen here for sprint football, and his brother Tom Verducci of the MLB Network fame. Of course, the Major League playoffs going on. So the Verducci family on the diamond and here on the gridiron. All alone in the backfield now is Luke O'Connell. 2nd down and 8 for Navy from the 45-yard line. Opening drive of the second half. Over the middle, incomplete. Jake Berger, the intended receiver, Connor Casterline, the linebacker in coverage for Mansfield Mountaineers head coach John Evans in his 8th season. How cool is it that Major Carter Reading, who was just promoted to major from captain just a few weeks ago here on the yard, he played on the sprint team when he was here at the Naval Academy from 2012 to 2015, also served as a TAD, his temporary assignment duty, for the 2016 season after he graduated, before he went off in service as a Marine Corps aviator. And what a career Major Carter Reading had as a sprint football player. 24-4. The career Marine Corps aviator, earning an Air Medal. And when he was a TAD here in 2016, he found his love for the triathlon. Competed in a triathlon with fellow TADs while sprint assistant coaches. And how about his TADs, former sprint players coaching this fall? 2nd Lieutenant Simon Berger, Ensign David Niski, 2nd Lieutenant Chris Stumpf, and 2nd Lieutenant Michael Whitehouse, the temporary assignment duty assistant coaches on sprint football. Out to midfield, a first down for the midshipmen. On the pass from O'Connell to Hunter Jennings. Jennings' 3rd reception of the ball game. Actually, it's 4th and 8. I looked at the first chain there. Still 8 yards to go for a first down after the penalty on the false start. So the midshipmen will punt. Ja'Cory Sutton takes it on a hop, able to get away. A line drive kick. And deciding to let it go is Weston Bellows. Well done, Ja'Cory Sutton. Looked like a Navy baseball player on that one. Took it on the hop. Got the punt away. And pins The Mountaineers deep in their own territory for their first possession of the second half from the 15-yard line. Just underway. 12:03 remaining in the third quarter. Navy 23, Mansfield nothing. Mansfield stops Navy on their first possession of the second half. In at quarterback now, Steven Risotto, the freshman quarterback from Myerstown, Pennsylvania, the third quarterback we have seen so far tonight. Marcus Quaker started the ball game. Matt Krause came on in relief of him. And now Steven Risotto getting a chance at quarterback, looking for some answers on offense. The Mounties coming into this game on a 2-0 start. Week 1 beat Penn 15-9 and shut out Caldwell 31-0 last week. A pass out in the flat and an open field tackle for the midshipmen. Seamus Carrasco, senior captain from Germantown, Tennessee, St. Benedict High School, carrying on the proud tradition of Navy sprint football. His brother and Seamus were teammates last year before his brother graduated and was commissioned. Seamus out there was a guest of mine earlier this year on the Navy Insider podcast, which you can find wherever you find your podcasts or at WBAL.com, the Navy Insider podcast. Keeping the ball himself and hit hard up to the 18-yard line is Matt Krause. So kind of a revolving door for these three quarterbacks. But the bottom line is two of the three unable to get a first down. So out at midfield is Grant Sturchy to return this punt for the midshipmen. Matt Mackmer to punt. Mackmer gets it away. A line drive, end over end. Bounces at midfield. Taken by Sturchy. Sturchy up to the 40-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds and there's a late flag. Might be a late hit right in front of the Navy bench at the 40-yard line. No matter what it is, it will be good field position for the midshipmen to start this possession after the short punt. Oh, a penalty on the midshipmen. A crackback block. So that is going to move the ball a little bit farther back than we thought it would be. Midshipmen will start this drive in their own territory, but still with good field position at the 46-yard line. Midshipmen quick and up on the ball. Basically five receivers for the midshipmen now with a single running back. O'Connell gives to that single back who trips over the 45-yard line. Hunter Jennings had a big first half, 102 yards. Short carry there, just back to the line of scrimmage to the 46-yard line. Second down and 10 for Navy. 5 minutes played in this second half. Navy with a 23-0 lead. A special teams touchdown off the opening kickoff when Navy kicked off the ball into the end zone. And then the offense scoring a pair, and a Ja'Cory Sutton 35-yard field goal is the scoring so far in this one as we move now into the second half. Play action. O'Connell down the sidelines, wide open, making a great catch is Jake Berger. He was clear and free, but the ball was thrown to the inside. He was going down the outside of the sidelines, turns, spins, brings it down, and it's a first down for the midshipmen. What a catch. Jake Berger as the midshipmen quickly down to the Mansfield 25-yard line. Berger to the bottom of your screen, right behind Nakiri. Hand off to Hunter Jennings. Bounces off right guard, keeps going. Jennings down to the 10-yard line. Running behind Kerry Johnson, Tom Gonglick, and John Dutton, the right side of that Navy offensive line. And just chugging along, breaking tackles. A 1st and goal for the midshipmen at the Mansfield 10-yard line. After a nice run by Hunter Jennings, after a great catch for 28 yards by Jake Berger. Jennings stops, cuts back, then comes to the near side. Was going up the middle, started off to the left, then cut back to the right. Just gets it inside the 10-yard line. Short pickup for the midshipmen. Exeter, Navy's newest lead partner, is proud to join Navy Athletics in celebrating the U.S. Navy's 250th birthday celebration this weekend. Exeter is Supply Chain AI, proud to honor the Navy's 250th birthday from sea to shining sea. I'm Scott Wyckoff here in Annapolis, along with our Navy Athletics crew, led by Director Matt Stovall. Glad to have you along for Friday Night Lights for Navy Sprint Football against the Mansfield Mountaineers, the home opener here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. A slant into the end zone, touchdown Navy! A quick hitter to Sam Stotler and the midshipmen. Lead it now 29-0. Right across the middle on the slant. And the midshipmen. 5 plays, 54 yards, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Their first points of the second half. A Luke O'Connell touchdown pass. With the extra point good. 30-0, the midshipmen with the lead. The touchdown by Grant Sturchy on the pass from Luke O'Connell. So Sturchy with the touchdown pass. 5 plays, 54 yards. 8-yard touchdown catch. And just like that, the midshipmen have taken a 30-0 lead. So what a tale of 2 weeks for these Mansfield Mounties. Last week, they shut out Caldwell 31-0 to move to 2-0 on the season. This week, with 7:26 left to go in the third quarter, Navy has opened up a 30-0 lead on the Mountaineers. A Navy team that has won all 14 games in this series dating back to 2009. This is the 80th season for sprint football at the United States Naval Academy. Ja'Cory Sutton kicks it away. Up the middle on the return. Caleb Smith. There are flags down on the field. Caleb from Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Juanita High School. The penalty will be walked off against the Mountaineers. So it's a long walk, half the distance to the goal. So back deep in their own territory, down deep in this ball game, 30-0. Mansfield continues to look for some answers offensively. So far in this one, 77 total yards of offense, just 18 rushing yards, 59 passing yards with 3 different quarterbacks. Kraus is the quarterback. There's a flag thrown, a tackle for a loss. The flag was thrown in the interior line. It was Gabriel Areola, defensive lineman from Tempe, Arizona. making the tackle on the play for the midshipmen as the flag was thrown. So as a block below the waist on the Mountaineers. So they will walk that back even further. So a penalty on the kick return. Now a penalty on that carry. Midshipmen have pinned Mansfield back to their 6-yard line with 7:17 remaining in the third quarter. Fumble. Ball is loose, and it bounces right back into the hands of quarterback Steven Risotto. Risotto, the freshman from Myerstown, Pennsylvania, handed the ball off. It was fumbled and then bounced off this brand new field turf back into his hands. And back even farther now. The ball is spotted at the 5-yard line. 2nd down and 18 for Mansfield. Midshipmen have already scored here in the second half to take the 30-0 lead. Kraus now throws along the near sidelines, up and making a catch. Weston Bellows has had a great ball game at wide receiver all the way out to the 34-yard line. As Bellows climbs the ladder and brings it down, and a big first down for Mansfield as they were pinned deep in their own territory after a couple penalties and a fumble, but they get some breathing room now out to the 34-yard line. Matt Kraus, 29 yards on the completion to Weston Bellows. The Mountaineers quickly up on the ball. Kraus, play action, back to the near sidelines. Caught. It's Darian Brown, the freshman wide receiver from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. A 9-yard reception out to the 43-yard line. Back-to-back completions for Matt Kraus. Kraus, hands off to Bellows, to the 45-yard line and no more. Making the stop for the midshipman, Wyan Keat, the freshman from West Jefferson, Ohio. Some real strong play in that interior defensive line for the midshipmen. Mick Tabor playing strong. Again, the midshipmen get down that line effectively defensively. Not only their defensive linemen, but that linebacker core, Walensky, Stotler, Conley, all moving down the line. 2nd down and 10 now after those 2 long completions out to the 45-yard line for the Mansfield Mountaineers, trying to get into Navy territory for the first time in this second half, trailing 30-0. Kraus throws, far sidelines. One-handed catch. Did he stay in bounds? Jerry Holmes Jr. does. He gets the foot down. Nice catch. We've seen a couple beautiful receptions by Mansfield here in this drive. The most recent there by Jerry Holmes. So before it was Weston Bellows making the 29-yard catch. And there, another long catch for Holmes. Ball is snapped high into the backfield. making the tackle for the loss for the midshipmen. Jensen Boyd, senior defensive lineman from Shafter, California, Shafter High School. The snap was high, and that's a loss of 5. Second down and 15 for Mansfield from the Navy 38-yard line. The first time the Mounties have been in Navy territory in this second half, with 2 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Kraus rolls left, and he's going to be sacked. First man in for Navy, senior defensive lineman Tyler Meisenthal. The 6'1" senior from Charlestown, West Virginia, leads the Navy defenders in to make the sack of Matt Kraus, taken down all the way back at the Navy 46-yard line. So it's third down and 24 for the Mountaineers, just when they started moving the ball effectively down the field. A couple tackles for loss, including that sack, and third and a long way to go from midfield. And did they get the timeout in time? Yes, they did. So John Evans, head coach of the Mansfield Mountaineers, makes a timeout call. Navy football is undefeated, and there is still time to catch a game right here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium this fall. For tickets, call 1-800-US4-NAVY or visit NavySports.com. Tomorrow, the midshipmen 5-0 take on the Temple Owls in the American Conference at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Our coverage on the Navy Radio Network begins at 3 o'clock. The kickoff at 4 o'clock. Coverage all midday long in Annapolis on WNAV, and coverage on flagship station WBAL Radio in Baltimore begins at 2 o'clock. Navy football tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock kickoff, Navy and Temple in Philadelphia. After a bye week, the midshipmen will be back here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium on October 25th, a 3:30 kickoff against Florida Atlantic University. Homecoming presented by Boeing. A timeout on the field. Navy, the midshipmen sprint football team, with all their players 178 pounds or less, looking to go 3-0 on the season, leading Mansfield 30-0, a minute 47 remaining in the third quarter. Mansfield with 3rd and 24. Dropping the snap and in trouble and being sacked again. Second consecutive sack for the midshipmen, all the way back in Mansfield territory. And once again, Tyler Meisenthal brings down Mac Kraus. And on 4th down and about a mile, the Mountaineers will be forced to punt the ball. They had the ball all the way down at the Navy 32-yard line after that nice catch where Jerry Holmes Jr. got his feet in bounds. But then after that Navy defensive line dominant. The punt is away. Fair catch. And the midshipmen will start this next drive at their 18-yard line. Get you caught up on what's been going on today in Navy athletics. The first of the Army-Navy Cup doubleheader. Women's soccer battling Army to a 2-2 tie at Subaru Park in Philadelphia. And right now in the men's game, at the 45-minute mark, Army leads Navy 1-0 at the half. So halftime in Game 2 of the doubleheader, the Army-Navy Cup, 14. Navy men's soccer team trails Army 1-0 after the women's soccer team battled to a 2-2 tie with the Black Knights. And here in Annapolis, going on right now, it is now a final at Wesley Brown Fieldhouse. Colgate, one of the top teams in the Patriot League, beating the Navy women's volleyball team 3-1. Navy won the first set, and then 3 straight set wins for Colgate to bring home the win at Wesley Brown. Almost intercepted out near midfield. A little upset that he couldn't get his hands on that. Justin Sebastian almost had the first turnover of the game for Mansfield on the pass, the errant pass from Navy quarterback Luke O'Connell. First real bad thrown ball of the ball game for O'Connell. And the midshipmen are getting some backups in the ball game. O'Connell with the handoff there, up the middle. A first down for the midshipmen. And that'll do it for the third quarter. 15 minutes remain here in Annapolis. Navy leads Mansfield 30-0 here in the Navy Sprint Football home opener. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment on Navy Athletics YouTube. The start of the fourth quarter, the midshipmen with the ball at their own 35-yard line as we start the fourth quarter here in Annapolis. Navy leads Mansfield 30-0. 23-0 the score at halftime. The midshipmen with a touchdown in that third quarter. Navy women's soccer, after their tie today in the Army-Navy Cup in Philadelphia, return to Glen Warner Friday, October 24th, as they take on Lafayette at 5 p.m. Be sure to get to Glen Warner Soccer Stadium as early, as we'll be honoring our senior class prior to the start of the game. That's Navy Women's Soccer at Glen Warner Friday, October 24th, as they take on Lafayette at 5 o'clock. Down the far sidelines, in and out of the hands for the midshipmen. That was intended for Jake Berger, who's had a big ball game already with a touchdown in special teams. He's made some nice catches. 6 receptions for 78 yards. Can't bring that one down. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for Navy from their own 36-yard line. Just underway in the fourth quarter. Midshipmen right back here at home at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium a week from tonight. 6 o'clock kickoff against Chestnut Hill. Luke O'Connell on the screen. Out over the 40. Down to the 45-yard line. Broderick Freeman, sophomore running back, with the catch. Broderick has a touchdown run here tonight. Makes a nice catch there. It'll be 4th down for Navy, a yard short of the first down. The ball is spotted by the line judge, Dan Wetzel, at the 45-yard line of the midshipmen. Some late player changes for Mansfield. I don't think they got everybody off the field. No flags. And the midshipmen drive it ahead for a first down. Through 3 quarters, Navy with 321 yards of total offense, 123 yards passing, 198 yards rushing. Something that's probably frustrating Navy head coach Major Carter Reading right now are the penalties. 6 penalties for 40 yards for Navy, but their offense has been dominant, led by Luke O'Connell and Hunter Jennings. 19 first downs so far for the midshipmen, just 7 for Mansfield, and Navy is 5-11 on third down and 1 for 2 on fourth down. Make it 2 for 3 now after that first down. The ball is smack dab at the 50-yard line, midfield. Navy with the first down. Play action. Throw across the middle. Caught. Turning. Spinning. Down inside the 10. And a touchdown. Second touchdown of the night for Jake Berger. His first on offense as the Navy sophomore wide receiver. Cutting across the middle, brings it down. A 50-yard touchdown reception by Jake Berger for the midshipmen. The same Jake Berger who on special teams scored the game's opening touchdown, running a fumble recovery in from 30 yards, 7 seconds into this ball game. So now at 12:50 left to go. Snap is down. The kick is away. And the midshipmen have taken a 37-0 lead over Mansfield on that 50-yard touchdown reception by Jake Berger on the pass from Luke O'Connell. The scoring drive for the midshipmen, 7 plays, 81 yards, 3 minutes. Extra point is good by Ja'Cory Sutton, and Navy with a 37-0 lead on this home opener here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium of this, the 80th season of Navy Sprint football, dating all the way back to 1946. The Kids Shipman Club is the official kids club of Navy Athletics. For just $25, your membership includes exclusive gifts, free tickets to Navy sporting events, a birthday card from Bill the Goat, and more. To register, visit NavySports.com. I'm Scott Wyckoff here in Annapolis. Our debut of Navy football here on Navy Athletics YouTube, along with our director Matt Stovall, and a busy, busy weekend of Navy sports, not only here on Navy Athletics YouTube, but also on ESPN Plus and also ESPN2 tomorrow for the Navy football game, 4 o'clock kickoff at Lincoln Financial Field. The midshipmen kick it off one more time here. Nice return out to the 35-yard line for Caleb Smith, the diminutive 5'7" freshman from Mifflintown, Pennsylvania, on a good kickoff return. There are flags down. Holding on Connor Casterline on the return. So all for naught for Caleb. Back to the 23-yard line. And that's where the Mansfield Mountaineers will start this drive. Their first possession of the fourth quarter. Kraus hands it off. And again, Navy defensively. Tackled by the combination of Christian Conley and also Mick Tabor on what has been a dominant defensive line for the midshipmen here tonight in the home opener. Pickup of 1. Kraus, play action, throws the slant in and out of the hands of Darian Brown, the freshman wide receiver from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Incomplete. 3rd down and 8. Out of the shotgun now for Mansfield. Kraus rolls right. He's hit as he throws the ball. It comes loose. Scoop and picked up by the midshipman. On the strip sack. The fumble is recovered by Gabriel Areola. And the midshipmen have it deep in Mansfield territory on the strip sack. Slow to get up for Mansfield. Trying to recover that fumble. Being checked out by the training staff. Exeter, Navy's newest lead partner, is proud to join Navy Athletics in celebrating the U.S. Navy's 250th birthday celebration this weekend. Exeter is Supply Chain AI, proud to honor the Navy's 250th birthday from sea to shining sea. The great tradition of sprint football at the Naval Academy, I think it was best put by Major Joseph Clearfield, United States Marine Corps, Navy 2006 sprint football coach, who said, quote, "This is how football was meant to be played, with 11 guys flying around with reckless abandon." And that's what we have definitely seen here tonight by the midshipmen, trying to pitch a shutout against Mansfield with another opportunity to take the ball into the end zone after the strip sack. New quarterback in for the midshipmen. Handoff up the middle by Wyatt Keat. Rhett Seipolt, the freshman, 6'1", from San Francisco and Stewart Hall High School, is in at quarterback for the midshipmen now. Nice game for Luke O'Connell. O'Connell finishes passing 14 of 23 for 173 yards. Ran the ball 3 times for 10 yards. Midshipmen knocking on the door again. A little problem with the exchange on the quarterback sneak, down to about the 1 yard line. Rhett Seipolt holding onto the ball himself. Seipolt, 6'1", looks over to get the play from the sidelines. Steps into the huddle. Shares that play with his Navy offense. Wyatt Keat alone with him in the backfield. Keeping it himself into the end zone. Touchdown! Rhett Seipolt into the end zone for the midshipmen. 43-0. As Navy puts points on the board after the strip sack that they recover down by the Mansfield goal line. Rhett Seipolt keeps it himself. Offensive coordinator Chuck Abate calls his number 9 and takes it into the end zone. Ja'Cory Sutton splits the uprights, but flags have been thrown. Seipolt on a 3-play, 3-yard scoring drive after the strip sack. It only took 1 minute and 27 seconds. Referee Joseph Marchio. So the kick is good. They will walk off the personal foul on the kickoff. And Navy out in front now, 44-0 with 10:33 left to go in this one. The latest in Naval Academy athletics is as close as your computer, tablet, or smartphone thanks to NavySports.com and the newly designed Navy Sports app. You can get all the information you need on all 36 varsity sports, including sprint football. and the midshipmen student athletes. Make sure to log on to NavySports.com or download the Navy Sports app today. Also, follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram to be kept in the know on all things Navy athletics. The midshipmen opening their home schedule for sprint football in a big way, leading 44-0. 10.5 minutes remaining in this one. Navy will go to 3-0 in the Collegiate Sprint Football League. Mansfield, this will be their first loss of the season. They'll look to rebound on Friday, a week from tonight, against St. Thomas Aquinas. Corey Sutton kicks it from midfield, and he will bang it down to the goal line. Special teams tackle by Navy's Drake Merle, the freshman linebacker from Warsaw, Missouri, and Warsaw High School. Makes a tackle on special teams. On the return of the kickoff, the midshipmen kicking from midfield after the 15-yard penalty on the extra point. So 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. Now the goal for the Mounties is to take this shutout off the board, drive down the field and get some points before they head back home to Mansfield. Problem with the exchange, and what we have seen quite a bit of, tackles for losses. Making that stop, Lex Wilson, the freshman linebacker from Detroit and Grosse Pointe South High School. Loss of 3. Little problem with the exchange from quarterback to running back. Matt Krause. I got to believe that Marcus Quaker was hurt early in the ballgame. He started at quarterback, but only was in for 2 series. And Krause is going to be sacked. Another sack for the midshipmen. First of the ballgame for Peter McKissick, the senior from Memphis, Tennessee. That is the 4th sack of the ballgame for the midshipmen. Also, get this, 11 tackles for losses, as this Navy defensive line and linebacker core has been dominant in this one. Timeout on the field. Navy fans, don't forget the online shopping experience offered by our partner Fanatics at NavySports.com. Just click on the Shop tab and find all the latest Navy Under Armour apparel at great prices. The store is the perfect place to shop for yourself or the Navy fan in your family. See the latest Navy merchandise at NavySports.com. The origins of college sprint football as we know it today dates back to 1934 with the formation of the Eastern 150-pound Football League. Over the years, the weight limit for sprint football players would eventually increase from 150 pounds to what we're seeing here tonight, 178 pounds in today's Collegiate Sprint Football League. Rosters limited to 70 players, and another sack for the midshipmen. Getting in there is Connor Miltenberger, the sophomore linebacker from Centerville, Ohio. Adds the 5th sack of the ball game. And the 12th time the midshipmen have brought down a Mountaineer behind the line of scrimmage. So it is 4th down. Matt Mackmer to punt. His punt is away. Midshipmen get some good field position on the punt return by Grant Sturchie. Down to the Mansfield 34-yard line. So the midshipmen out in front, 44-0, with 8:18 remaining in this ball game. Have dominated in time of possession and in field position. Time of possession, 28 minutes for Navy, 20 minutes for Mansfield. Play action, keeping it himself, off to the right side. Rhett Seipolt, who came in the last series, ran the ball on a similar play into the end zone for a touchdown. Picks up 5 yards on that carry. Second down and 5 to go for the midshipmen at the Mansfield 29-yard line. So a personal foul after the play was over on Mansfield. So they have really missed quarterback Marcus Quaker in this one. He led the Mountaineers in rushing with 160 yards on the ground in 2 games and 4 touchdowns. And we have not seen him at quarterback since the second series of the ball game. And it's really shown as the Mansfield offense has just not been able to get off the snide. Seipolt. Hands to the right side. Back to the line of scrimmage. Did the ball come loose? Carry by Bobby Rudsky, the senior from nearby Bethesda, Maryland. Played his high school football at Landon. Now playing sprint football. Some of the nation's top undersized high school football players finding a college football home here on the yard on this unique Navy sprint football team with quite a history on the gridiron, dating back 80 years now in the Naval Academy. Seipolt throws to the right side, complete. Back to the original line of scrimmage and no more. McKissick makes the reception. 3rd and 9 for Navy at the 14. Clock is winding, under 7 minutes now left in regulation. Seipolt, and a quarterback for Navy, in for Luke O'Connell. Drops back to pass, steps up in the pocket, throws into the end zone. Caught for a touchdown! John Malatesta, the freshman wide receiver from Arlington, Virginia, goes up and makes a beautiful touchdown catch. The only place where he could have caught that ball, and it was thrown there by Rhett Seipolt. And Malatesta makes the touchdown catch. And it's off the upright. So Navy with a 50-0 lead now over Mansfield with 6:21 left to go in this one. John Malatesta, the freshman, his first career touchdown catch. A quick 4-play, 34-yard, 1 minute and 57-second scoring drive for the midshipmen. As head coach Major Carter Reading and his staff able to get some important time now for some of their younger players, trying to build that depth that they'll need as they move through the Collegiate Sprint Football League, getting ready for CSFL South Division play. For the midshipmen, as I said, up next, a week from tonight, they play Chestnut Hill here. the third game of this homestand against Malloy on October 12th, also here at 6 o'clock. Then the Midshipmen hit the road to take on Penn on November 1st at 3 o'clock. Caldwell on November 7th back here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. And then it's the Army-Navy Star Game at West Point on November 15th to end the regular season. And without a doubt, as has been the case over the last decade or so, it seems as though that last game of the season deciding the championship in the Collegiate Sprint Football League played between Army and Navy. And I interviewed Seamus Carrasco a couple of weeks ago for the Navy Insider podcast, which you can find where you find podcasts or by going to the podcast section of WBAL.com. And Seamus really said the mission of this senior class for the Navy Sprint football team this year is to get back not only the Collegiate Sprint Football Championship, but get back the wins that they had taken away from them last year by Army. So it's a long road to get there, and tonight Navy has gotten the job done. So far pitching a 50-0 shutout over Mansfield with 6:14 remaining in this ball game. Kraus rolls right, actually throws in the flat. Completion up over the 31-yard line. As that was Steven Risotto. Risotto on the completion. Catch made by Weston Bellows on what has been a tough night for this Mansfield offense. Bellows has played nicely. 4 catches for 51 yards. Risotto hands it off. Bouncing it out to the left side is Austin Lunsford, the freshman from San Diego. Pickup of 6. Out to the 36-yard line. Connor Miltonberger, the sophomore linebacker from Centerville, Ohio, has made tackles on back-to-back possessions now for Mansfield for the Midshipmen. 3rd and 4. Risotto on the belly. Gives to the first man through. That's Austin Lunsford. Pounds it out to the 38-yard line. Needs to get to the 39 for the first down. It'll be 4th and a yard to go now for Mansfield. Desperately trying to end the shutout, put some points on the board before the bus ride back to northern Pennsylvania near the New York border, just south of Endicott, New York. Pushes it ahead, gets the first down. So a first down carry. They'll move the chains. In the opening week of the season in Ithaca against Cornell, Navy put 40 points on the board. Last week at St. Thomas Aquinas, 28 points. And returning home here in the home opener, the Midshipmen putting 50 points up on the scoreboard here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in the home opener for Navy Sprint Football. One yard on the carry, setting up a 2nd down and 9 for Mansfield now. Breaking the tackle and bouncing it out to the left side is Austin Lunsford. Lunsford very close to the first down. It looked as though he might have been stopped in the backfield, but ran right through the errant Navy tackle. He's actually knocked out of bounds right at midfield at the 50-yard line, 3 yards short of the first down, now on third down. The Mountaineers trying to move this ball into Navy territory. Steven Risotto from Myerstown, Pennsylvania. Elko High School, hands off. And another tackle for a loss for the right side of that Navy defensive line. Lex Wilson, freshman linebacker from Detroit. His second tackle of the ball game. First tackle for a loss for him. 4th down and 4. Needing points and now taking a timeout. So a timeout on the field. Head coach John Evans in his 8th year as head coach of Mansfield. The Mountaineers' former defensive coordinator, had that job for 4 years before he took over as head coach. Talks things over with his Mountaineers. Hey kids, looking for a great way to celebrate your birthday? Have your party at a Navy sporting event with the Bill's Birthday Party Package. Your special day can include a pregame party featuring treats from Chick-fil-A, Fisher's Popcorn, and Nothing But Cakes, as well as game tickets, a video board recognition, and more. For more information, call 1-800-US4Navy. Scott Wyckoff on what has turned out to be a nice Friday night here in Annapolis. Got pretty cloudy this afternoon, which made for a beautiful sunset here over the state capital of Maryland, dropping down into the 50s now. Here with our Navy athletics crew, led by Director Matt Stovall. I believe a couple former Navy sprint football players, TADs, on their temporary assignment duty on our cameras here tonight, doing Tyler Swit and Tyler Cox. So a pair of Tylers getting it done on our cameras here tonight from Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis. And giving you all the great shots and pushing all the buttons to make this happen on Navy Athletics YouTube is our director, Matt Stovall. First down for the Mountaineers in Navy territory. A pass across the middle. Incomplete. A little bit of a slant. Pass was intended for Eli Swan, senior wide receiver from Mount Pleasant Mills, Pennsylvania, Midwest High School. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10. Stops the clock with 1:26 left to go in the 4th quarter. So Navy will go to 3-0. Next up, Chestnut Hill, right back here a week from tonight at 6 o'clock. For Mansfield, they'll drop to 2-1. They also play next Friday night against St. Thomas Aquinas. Depending on forward progress, that could be another tackle for a loss for the midshipmen. This time, Jake Rodriguez makes a tackle. 3rd down. Pass out on the left sidelines. Complete. And out of bounds. Eli Swan with back-to-back catches. Under a minute left to go. As Mansfield tries to get on the board for the first time. 1st and 10 from the Navy 31-yard line. 57 seconds remaining in this one. Quite a drive so far for the Mountaineers. 10 plays, 40 yards into Navy territory. Another pass out and caught. This time, the reception made by Darian Brown. Quickly up to the line of scrimmage. The Mountaineers as the clock rolls. Risotto under center. Play action, pitches out on the corner, turning it upfield inside the 15 is Weston Bellows. He stopped, and stopping the clock on the timeout will be Mansfield. So you know they want to get these points out of this final drive for them in this ball game that has 35 seconds remaining in it. Navy out in front, 50-0. Just as I say that, Navy defensive coordinator and associate head coach Tony Verducci telling his midshipmen right now, let's preserve the shutout. Get the first shutout of the season. Make a stop deep in our own territory. After the timeout, Mansfield will have it 2nd down and 4 from the Navy 13-yard line. But they're not thinking first down with only 35 seconds left to go. Mansfield looking to get this in the end zone. Risotto. Short drop. Throws in the corner. Caught down at the 1-yard line. On the fade. The catch made by Eli Swan. 3 receptions for Swan on this drive. Down to the 1-yard line with 30 seconds left to go. Deneen in the backfield, as is Winston Bellows. So Bellows is the I back. The up back is Deneen. Risotto hands to Bellows up over the left side into the end zone. Touchdown. First points of the night for the Mansfield Mountaineers with 26 seconds left to go on their final drive of the ball game. 15 plays, 71 yards, taking it into the end zone. So there will be no shutout tonight for the midshipmen as the Mountaineers on the 1-yard touchdown run by Weston Bellows score on that 70-yard, 15-play drive. On for the extra point is Nolan Zona. So Zona, the 6'3" junior from Elwood City, Pennsylvania, puts it through the uprights. And with just 26 seconds remaining in the ballgame, Mansfield on the board, trailing Navy 50-7. So while it has been a disappointing night for John Evans' Mansfield Mountaineers, showing some real fortitude at the end of this ball game with a long drive, taking it down and knocking away the chance for the Navy shutout. Back deep for the midshipmen, Grant Sturchy. Alongside E.B. Denson. Zona's left-footed kickoff, kind of a pooch kick. Fielded by Sturchy. Sturchy up over the 30-yard line. Grant Sturchy with a big night, returning kicks and also making catches. Grant Sturchy, 2 receptions for 13 yards and has played well on special teams. Two punt returns for 75 yards and his second kickoff return for 12 yards now. The midshipmen take a knee, and that will do it. Navy wins the home opener here at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, beating Mansfield by a final score of 50-7. as the midshipmen will stay on the field, sing the alma mater, and enjoy this one on this Friday night as they push their record to 3-0 with a big win, 50-7 over the Mansfield Mountaineers. Navy now 3-0. Mansfield drops to 2-1. Final stats in this ball game for the midshipmen: a dominant night on offense. 392 total yards on offense for Navy, 189 passing yards, 203 rushing yards. For Mansfield, 159 yards of total offense, 161 yards of passing yards. And the midshipmen hold the Mountaineers to -2 yards rushing on a big night here in Annapolis as the midshipmen and Mountaineers shake hands at midfield. So that'll do it for our entire Navy athletics crew, the two Tylers, and our director, Matt Stovall. Special thanks to Navy Assistant Sports Information Director Chris Whitehead and Mansfield Director of Athletics Communications, Drew Patrick. Thanks for you to joining us here on Navy Athletics YouTube. Once again, the final score, Navy 50, Mansfield 7. I'm Scott Wyckoff. Have a good night, everybody.